Well, welcome back to Cardboard Swords and the latest instalment of the Jank Bank. We haven't done one of these for a while, and that's because Bravo's been practicing his party trick. Let's get in! Well, I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard of Bravo, but if you haven't, he's the original Guardian from Welcome to Wraith. He's got a really powerful ability. You can pay 2 resources, and the next attack that costs 3 or greater gains Dominate. His signature weapon, and the one that we're going to make use of in this deck, is a bloody big hammer, Anathos. It costs 3 to attack for 4, and it can get a buff if you pitch the right cards. But the trick up our sleeve in this deck is Fire Breathing. Opponents don't expect it, and when it hits the table, just watch them squirm. In the loadout, we're running as much protection as possible. We've got the Arcanite Skullcap, which blocks for 3 if we block sensibly. We've got the Earthlore Bounty, which blocks for 2, but also has a light synergy in the deck that enables us to make Seismic Surge tokens. And we've got Crater Fist, which no one ever uses the ability on, but it blocks for 2. Mage Master Boots comes in handy to play out an E-Pot and then continue our turn. And in the kit bag, if we need it, we've got a set of Ironhide legs for some extra protection and a full suite of Null Rune for those wizards. So before we can perform our party trick, we need to set the stage. We're kind of in survival mode for this period, so we've got Immovable to block some big attacks, we've got Staunch Response to block some big attacks, and we've got Steadfast, which can also help us prevent some damage against those wizards and also stops big attacks. As well as preventing damage during this period, we want to be playing out our energy potions and pitching a blue to swing the hammer to chip away at our opponent. If we find ourselves with cards in hand and we have the opportunity to, we want to warm up the crowd with some of our other attacks. Now these are all in blue, so they're not so powerful, but the on-hit effects can be very relevant against certain heroes and definitely force cards out of hand. Chokeslam's Crush ability, for example, completely turns off a charged Bolton deck, preventing them from gaining power on any of their attacks. Now some of these cards are quite highly costed, but there is a light synergy in the deck that creates Seismic Surge tokens by drawing cards and utilising Earthlore Bounty, which can help you out in a pinch. We're also running some cards that can give Anathos a pretty devastating on-hit effect. We've got Tear Asunder from Monarch and Buckle from the newly released Dynasty set. But if you were thinking that this deck is a one-trick pony, then think again. We've got other tricks up our sleeve like Crippling Crush, and because we're running so many blue pitch cards in the deck, we can often pitch 3 cards to activate Bravo and come in with a Crippling Crush with Dominate. We've also got Spinal Crush, which go-wide aggro decks hate to have to defend against. But what the crowd have paid their money for is the party trick. We're going to play out our energy potions and chip away at our opponent. And when the time is right and we've managed to arsenal our fire breathing, we're going to keep a load of blues in hand and play it out. Then it's down to the opponent. Maths is for blockers. Watch as they squirm in their seat trying to figure out how much damage they're able to do at instant speed with this. The answer to that is, if we've got 2 energy pots out and a handful of blues, it's 17 damage. Okay, let's take a look at some clips from a recent Armory event that I took this deck to. You can see here we're playing against Dromai. It's not the best matchup for Bravo, I'm not going to lie. Here we're in the mid game, both on 13 life. I trigger Phantasm on this Cromai, but that means he still has an action point to continue his turn. He's presenting a fair bit of damage here. We've got an E-Strike now, and I know he's got a good board state, so we're in a lot of trouble. The only way out of this mess for me is to have a big turn myself. I do have the tools I need in hand to create that big turn. I've got a Fire Breathing and I've got an Energy Pot. Sometimes when your back's against the wall, you've just got to play your outs. So what I'm going to do is block as effectively as possible, play out my energy potion, arsenal the fire breathing, and hope I can survive for that big turn that I need. We survived their big turn. Now we're just going to play out the energy pot, arsenal the fire breathing, and say go. We took a little bit of damage, but we've managed to make it to our turn with still a few cards in hand. We're going to pop the energy pot, giving us 2 resources. We'll play this round on me. Now if he survives this attack, all his Ash Wings won't do any damage. It also allows me to draw a card. And then we can perform our party trick. Fire breathing hits the table and the opponent needs to read it. What on earth is this? Then we get some nervous card shuffling, followed by a little bit of squirming, and then some counting. And maths is for blockers. If you want to see how this game panned out, I'll put a link at the top of the screen and another one in the description. But in this moment, watching your opponent feel the heat of the fire breathing, I've got to say it's pretty satisfying. Time to have a quick look at those deck stats. We've got 34 blue pitch cards. That's really important so that we've got the blues we need to fuel that fire breathing turn. 6 defense reactions and 36 cards that block for 3, ensuring our survival till we get to that point. Sure, this deck's a little bit janky, but jank is my wheelhouse. This was a lot of fun. I took this to an Armory, so there's a couple of games up already. The links will be in the description. If you like this content and you like gameplay, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.